it's funny because everyone has their own expectation of what it should be and what everyone wanted it to be. And then when it's done and everyone just kind of like sees what it is, it doesn't exactly meet that. Or like, you know what I mean? Nothing ever, when you make a pie, you think it's going to be a great pie. And it might not be the pie that you wanted to make, but it's still a great pie. So like, if the conversation we're having is about how brutal this record was to make, that's not how I am as a person. All the expectations, like there's that saying, no expectations, no disappointments. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of how I work. I don't write thinking about the audience. I don't write thinking about my bandmates. I write thinking about what I think is going to be okay. It's like an exercise, like this internal exercise in trying to like go within the cliche like therapeutic music thing, right?
Yeah.
Where it helps me. And so that's why I like to do it. So it wasn't brutal. I shifted studios. Wasn't brutal. You know, like I went to a place I felt more comfortable, and it could have been brutal for other people. Mm-hmm. Other people that had expectations for me to be this way or that way or the other, but
we decided to record in Palo Alto with Jack Shirley, who's a good friend of mine. And before this record had even started being made, Jack and I were already in cahoots about that we were going to do the record together and that it was going to sound this way and I was going to be the point of contact for it. So before it even started, I was kind of already ready to be in the driver's seat. Jack was told that that was going to be the deal for me. The downfalls of choosing to record at the Atomic Garden were self-inflicted. It was my fault for choosing someone and convincing the rest of my guys to record with someone who I was so close with. So that being said, all of my expectations were being imposed upon our engineer and producer, which hindered everyone else's voice. And I think that that's a bad thing. And I think
everybody's got to kind of be like that at some point, you know what I mean? Like when you're trying to put together something not only artistic but like anything really, like somebody's kind of got to be in front, you know. It's not that I personally need a leader, but it's like when you bring 5 individuals who all listen to different styles of music and live different lifestyles, you can't expect everybody to even come to a conclusion on like what to eat for dinner, you know. So it's like somebody's got to be in control of like the end game. Like I didn't have very much to do with this specific record, but it's not that I didn't have anything to do with it. Like sometimes I would think back listening to the songs while we were getting them mixed and like before we were getting them mastered, and I would think like I would have a feeling like I didn't have any part of it, you know, like I didn't write these songs. But that's only because I'm used to writing songs. But really I was there every single day, you know, like making sure like if a part didn't work out right, like I would have said something in that point and we would have gotten it to a conclusion. Like it's just like that was something I kind of had to like learn how to take a step back on, you know. Everybody's controlling and I'm controlling too, so like I kind of had to figure out how to not be, you know.
One thing I think I learned is I learned a lot about expectations and imposition and holding people to your own standard. You can't do that when creating art with large groups of people because they're going to come in and they're going to say, fuck you, I'm going to do my own thing. Scott walked in a room, started spitting his vocals, and I said, that's not what I had planned for you. And he kind of just looked at me like I was a fucking moron and walked out. And that moment was really tough on his and I's friendship, because that's one of my best friends. And to tell your best friend, hey, your art's not good enough, that is crushing. And I don't think it really necessarily affected him. He was kind of just walked out and was like, well, that's me, Daddy-O. And went to a different studio with Mike, and RJ recorded it and smashed it out of the park, because I wasn't there to impose my expectations on him. And that's something I learned about. I learned that if you're going to create within a group setting, you have to let everyone do their part and say, here's what my part looks like, and value it for the reason you chose to start working with this person.
You know, one of my favorite parts about Creative Adult and being in this band is that our music has changed every time we've stepped into a studio. So at first, personally, to be honest, I wasn't entirely excited on where the music was going for this album. But at some point, you have to realize that every record that you've done thus far has been different. And, you know, it really took me getting the master and sitting down and listening to it, and I was like, okay, I get it. But the part that I like of being in Creative Adult is that, you know, maybe this record sounds this way and it was in this person's control. But next year we're gonna do another record and it might not be in anyone's control. There might be 3 songs of his, 2 songs of his, etc. So it's like, I'm just along for the ride, really. I mean, shit, like every 3 months I change what genre of music I'm listening to, like, the most, you know? So it's like, really, like, I can't say that, like, I would prefer to play this style of music versus this other style of music, because, like, 1 year ago we were writing punk tracks, and this year we're writing deep tracks. So it's like, who knows, really? Like, it's not even really trying to make anything. Like, honestly, I could give a shit less if anybody likes it.
Yeah, definitely. I'm definitely happy with the outcome of the record. It was a really tumultuous thing to make, but I am really happy, because I wouldn't be who I am today if we didn't go through all of that. Scott and I are homies again. That is my dog. And if it weren't for him checking me, because that's what happened, he checked me. He said, I'm not having any of that. I'm not here to do your will. I'm here to do my creation. And if it weren't for him saying that, then I would have felt like a little king in my awkward castle, but I'd be sitting there alone. But because of my band's ability to say, hey, we get that you're trying to assert yourself, and we get that you're trying to grow into someone that you can love, we're still gonna be us. And this is still what we're gonna do to the record. And so that's still all there. It's not like I smashed out everyone and everything. It's just there was a lot of me going on, and a lot of people kind of swatting me back and saying, no, it's not going to be like that. But if it weren't for this, it wouldn't be what it is. Now it serves as a really cool document to that part of my life, and I think everyone else's.
To me, the title is just about embracing the true you and going for it, and not living in fear or judgment, or being open to anything and everything. And there's so much like crazy shit going on right now, and there's a lot to be afraid of. I'm not saying there isn't, because people are fucking insane on all ends of the spectrum. Politically and socially and artistically, you name it, there's just a lot of chaos going on. I think people will make their own decision about why it's called Fear 5. I don't want people to think that what I'm doing or any of us are doing is special or is something that's not attainable. I think if you want to yell in a band or pick up a guitar or pick up, a pen or a paintbrush or whatever it is that you want to do, I don't want anyone to be afraid. Don't be afraid of your life, and own it. You don't have a lot of time, and the time is now, so do it, and do it the best you can and do it with love and respect.